AI agents, they're struggling. Microsoft's new research just quantified how badly large language models can lose their way on real world multi step tasks, dropping to about 50% accuracy. We're also diving into a federal state battle over AI rules and a surprising move by a nation to give everyone free ChatGPT Plus. No BS AI briefing brought to you by Proactive AI. Welcome back. I'm your host, Vikash, and this is where builders get straightforward AI news without the fluff. First up, Microsoft research dropped a pretty significant finding this week. LLMs are losing around 50% accuracy when tackling multi step tasks. Now, this isn't just some theoretical lab test. We're talking about real world scenarios across 52 different professional domains as revealed by their Delegate 52 study. What happened is, as these AI agents move through a workflow, executing one step after another, errors start compounding. Think about it like a long chain. If one link breaks, the whole thing falls apart. In plain English, this means the more steps you ask an AI to handle autonomously, the less reliable it becomes. For builders, this is a huge signal. It tells us that the dream of fully autonomous agents handling complex end to end processes without human oversight is still pretty far off. You absolutely have to build with human in the loop checks in mind, implement solid state tracking, and crucially, then design for rollbacks when things inevitably go wrong. This study also points to a growing demand for agent infrastructure that's specifically focused on error detection and graceful recovery, not just raw task execution. It's a reality check for the agentic AI hype. Next, we're seeing a significant shift in the regulatory landscape as the part US created a federal AI litigation task force to challenge state rules. What happened here is an executive order from the Trump administration authorized this new task force. Their mission to contest state level AI safety and transparency regulations and even restrict federal funding to states that don't comply with federal directives. This is setting up a pretty clear federal state conflict, right? For builders, this means you should expect shifting compliance targets. If you're building an AI product that needs to navigate a patchwork of state specific laws right now, prepare for potential preemption. State level investments in AI policy might just get sidelined by federal standards. It's like the rules of the game could change mid play, so staying agile and prepared for a more unified or at least federally influenced regulatory environment is key. Dons get too comfortable with the current state rules if you're operating across state lines. Also, in a fascinating move, OpenAI and Malta launched the first nationwide free ChatGPT Plus program. This isn't just a small pilot. What happened is every resident and even Maltese citizens living abroad will get 1 year of ChatGPT Plus access. There's a catch though, you have to complete a government endorsed AI literacy course first. This isn't just a handout, it's a strategic play. Malta is essentially positioning itself as a massive real world test case for public AI adoption and education. It's a bold experiment in digital inclusion. For builders, this opens up some really interesting opportunities. Think about it. Governments might start bundling AI access with educational programs. That means new markets for companies creating AI literacy content, onboarding tools, and educational platforms tailored to civic adoption. It's also a new kind of business to government or B2G distribution channel for foundational AI models and related services. Could your product integrate into such a program? Could you build the education layer for the next Malta? It's a new playbook for AI rollout. Shifting to geopolitics, the US and China agreed to a formal AI security dialogue. This happened at a summit between the Trump and Xi administrations, where both leaders shook hands on initiating formal talks specifically focused on AI security. What's interesting is that Anthropic's Mythos model was even cited as a specific example of the kind of frontier AI needing oversight during these discussions. This isn't just diplomatic niceties, it's a concrete step. For builders, this signals potential export controls on advanced AI models and perhaps even pre release vetting processes for frontier models, before they can be deployed internationally. If you're developing or deploying AI products that cross borders, especially between these two major powers, you might face added review or restrictions. It implies a future where cross border AI deployments could become more complex, requiring careful navigation of new international security protocols. Keep an eye on the details as these dialogues unfold. Finally, the Vatican is forming an AI study group, and Pope Leo XIV plans to issue an AI ethics encyclical. What happened is the Pope announced this initiative, specifically focusing on the ethical implications of AI and how it relates to human dignity. Now, you might think, what does the Vatican have to do with my SaaS product? Well, moral institutions like the Vatican carry significant weight and influence. For builders, this matters because these kinds of ethical frameworks will absolutely influence procurement decisions, especially for large institutions, governments, and organizations that prioritize ethical considerations. Alignment with principles like transparency and fairness, which the Vatican is likely to emphasize, can become a real market differentiator. If your AI product can clearly demonstrate its ethical guardrails and commitment to human centric design, that could give you a competitive edge, fostering trust and opening doors to new markets and partnerships. It's about building responsible AI that also resonates with broader societal values. If you're finding this useful, hit follow in your podcast app right now. It takes 2 seconds and it's the best way to make sure you don't miss the next briefing. Let's dive a bit deeper into that. Microsoft Delegate 52 study, the accuracy cliff in autonomous agents. This, for me, is the most important story this week because it quantifies what many of us have suspected about autonomous agents. They suffer catastrophic performance decay on real multi step work. It's not just a little drop. We're talking about LLMs degrading to around 50% accuracy. I mean, think about that for a second. If you're building a product that relies on an AI agent to do a sequence of 5 or 6 tasks, and at each step there's a chance of error that compounds, your overall reliability for the entire workflow can plummet. This immediately impacts how we as builders need to design and approach agentic systems. The background here is crucial, right? For the past year, maybe two, there's been this massive bet on agentic AI. The idea was that by scaling models, giving them tool access and chaining them together, they'd eventually handle complex multi-step workflows autonomously. This Delegate 52 study directly counters that assumption, not with theory, but with hard data collected across a broad range of professional domains. It's a wake-up call that the foundational problem of error accumulation in sequential tasks hasn't been magically solved. So who should really care about this? Well, if you're a founder banking on a fully autonomous agent to power your SaaS product, you need to care deeply. If you're a product manager designing workflows that lean heavily on AI automation, you'll want to revisit those assumptions. Engineering leaders building agentic systems for internal tools or customer-facing features, this is your mandate to focus on robust error handling. And for indie hackers experimenting with agent-based side projects, this means designing with more modesty in scope and definitely with an escape hatch for human intervention. How would I think about this as a builder? My strategic implication here is clear. You've got to favor human in the loop designs. Period. Don't try to push full autonomy too early. Instead, invest heavily in observability, knowing what your agent is doing, why it's doing it, and when it goes off the rails. Implement robust state management so you can pick up exactly where an agent left off, or better yet, roll back to a known good state. This also means you should focus agents on narrow, high-value workflows where the cost of failure is either low or where a human can easily step in. Don't try to boil the ocean with one super agent. Think of agents as highly capable but somewhat clumsy apprentices who need supervision, not fully independent contractors. My no BS take, this isn't a death knell for AI agents, but it's certainly a hard dose of reality. The hype around autonomous agents will just solve everything needs to be grounded. What's real is that agents are powerful tools, but they're not magic. What's hype is the idea that they can reliably execute long, complex tasks without significant human oversight and robust engineering around failure detection and recovery. We're still in the early days of making agents truly dependable, especially when the stakes are high. If you want one practical takeaway from today's episode, here it is: audit your agent workflows for failure points. This is about getting real with where your AI systems are likely to break down. Here's how to try it in under 60 minutes. First, map out a specific multi step task your agent performs or one you're prototyping. Break it down into discrete steps. Second, for each step, ask yourself, what's the worst an LLM could do here? Identify the moments where accuracy might drop or where an error could compound. Third, consciously add human checkpoints and define clear rollback triggers at those riskiest steps. Don't automate a step if a failure there is catastrophic without a human in the loop. This specific experiment is worth your time right now because it forces you to think defensively, to build resilience into your AI systems, and to avoid shipping something that could degrade into a 50% accuracy mess, frustrating users and costing you trust. It's about building responsibly and practically. That's it for today's No BS AI briefing. If this helped, follow the show in your podcast app and share it with one builder you know. And if you've got questions or topics you want covered, connect with me on LinkedIn and send them over. See you in the next briefing.